from Graphicxtras. In this tutorial I'm going to show you the Photoshop plugin Gradient Combo 3. It's a plugin that can be found in the Andrews plugins volume 3, and it's for Photoshop, PSP, etc. It's for 32-bit only. Right, basically the whole approach to the plugin, it applies a gradient. The plugin was initially made up of multiple plugins, so it's actually, you can see a drop down here of different gradient effects. These are not gradients that can be found in Photoshop, so over here you'll see a gradient there. That's not connected with that, so just ignore. The plugin uses the colour from the foreground and background over here, so you can actually modify the plugin just by simply changing the colour over here. Right, I've just selected one of the plugins. I'm just going to go through these. These are all ones different. You can see sort of like corners, diagonal design here, different colour streams, and the plugin actually uses combinations of two gradients, and there's a number of options. There's a whole selection of different gradients here, and they blend basically the two plugins. So you can also modify the center point of the gradient. So I'm just going to go back to one of the other plugins. I'm just going to reset it actually. That'll be the easiest. And you can modify the center by right clicking on the side around the picture. That will modify the position of the center of the gradient. Also you can modify the center of the gradient too. There's a repeats option and color option. Now in some cases this has no real effect. It only affects certain gradients and certain combinations. So but it reapplies the color effect multiple times and creates more interesting, maybe well, unusual gradients. And the color effect, again, you can modify that. You can see it just creates different gradient, lighter and darker. There's also a noise option that adds just grain to the gradient. So if you want a sort of grainier effect, that actually creates quite a nice sort of smearing effect. You can also apply a factor, and I'm just going to reset there. So I'm just going to now increase that. Increases the red, increases the green, decreases, etc. Now that's the basic run through of all the functionality of the plugin. You can also just going to click the gradient, and that will actually randomize the gradient combinations. So you can just go through, and obviously there's, well, 28 different type of gradients within each gradient. So 28 times 20, well, there's a lot of gradient combinations you can achieve. So you just click that. Also you can apply extreme, which will randomize most of the settings in the plugin. Also color, which will randomize the actual, just this thing, which adds color or takes color away for the red channel, green channel and blue channel. Also you can apply different layer transparency effects if you're applying it on a layer. Also effects modes, where the plugin results can be used as a source for like smears or blurs or paint effects, shift, etc. Also you can apply blend modes, and these are different from the Photoshop blend modes, so they're but you are just randomizing the different blends. So actually just a whole selection of different options here. It's got frames, tile effects, etc. You can also apply a post process within the actual plugin, of course. It's actually just going to select a gradient here. You can apply additional gradients on top of the gradient that's actually created, so you can create much more interesting combinations. I'm just going to quickly click OK at that point, and it will generate the result, creating a what you could say is a pretty unusual gradient effect, which can be of course modified further using various filters, etc. in Photoshop. You can also combine the effects. Obviously you could just, if in this case you could just do a simple duplicate and then just modify this. And I'm just going to just do a quick just tweak, so you could actually just do that, create a very unusual color combinations. Of course you can go to the layers and you can make that maybe difference, so you can actually create again even more unusual color schemes, apply standard effects, as well as use this with text and much more. So that's a basic quick run through of the Andrews plugin Gradient Combo volume issue 3. Why it's 3? Well, there's lots of other plugins very similar titles, 7, 8, etc. have all got those plugins. So hopefully you found this interesting, and we'll check out the plugin on the Graphicxtras.com website.